Alright, so the first day of high school can be a little overwhelming if you're not prepared for it. My first day felt like I was entering the Hunger Games. I'm serious. You walk in and it's like boom, crowds everywhere. And upperclassmen staring at you like as if you just trespassed their turf. And if you thought the way second graders looked up to fifth graders was intense, wait until you see how freshmen look at seniors. 9th grade to 12th grade, teenagers versus adults. And I was yet to hit puberty when I started high school. My backpack weighed more than me. Seniors would literally call us freshmen fresh meat. And honestly, can you blame them? We were too busy mapping escape routes to the nearest bathroom as if we were in a zombie apocalypse. So today, I'm gonna give you the real survival guide. The one I wish I had when I started high school. Not the stuff your school tells you during orientation. The unspoken rules, what school supplies you need, and how to make it out alive without accidentally joining 12 clubs you'll never attend. So grab a snack, and let's begin. I remember walking into my high school for the first time as if it were yesterday. Everyone was shocked by how much bigger it was compared to the middle schools in the city. We had officially unlocked the new map. And that first day, we had an orientation in the auditorium. And I was sitting with some old friends from middle school. Hello everyone. The principal got on the mic. Blah 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 blah. He was saying a lot of stuff nobody was listening to. I wasn't paying attention until his very last sentence. Alright, I have good news and bad news. Uh-oh. You'll be getting the lockers from last year's seniors who graduated, and we repainted them all as a fun revamp. Oh, cool, but they're still not dry yet. They were painted yesterday. What? So we didn't have lockers that first week of school, which meant every single thing I brought, I had to carry it around all day. And when I tell you I came prepared, I mean, I looked like I was about to go on a 3-day camping trip out into the wilderness. Giant backpack filled to the brim, binders, highlighters, colored pencils, which, by the way, I did not use any colored pencils in high school. And here's the kicker, the only things I actually needed were 2 notebooks. That backpack was pointless, because I remember walking around the building, struggling to get through the door frame. Anytime someone would breathe too close to me, I'd almost tip over like a turtle on its back. And I remember dropping a pen on the stairs. And I had to decide if it was worth the 45-second process of unstrapping, bending over, and putting everything back on. That sounded kinda sus. And spoiler, it was not worth it. By lunch, my shoulders were numb, my back was screaming, and I was sweating as if I just ran a marathon. Carrying that much weight should have counted as my gym credit for the semester. So don't bring that much on the first day of school. Again, 2 notebooks. One to write down what you actually need from class, and the second, I'll get back to this one and explain later. Now, back to the topic of survival. Here's one thing they don't tell you during orientation. Finding the right bathroom is just as important as finding your classes. Let me explain. See, every high school has 3 types of bathrooms. The nice one, the fight one, and the haunted one. The nice one is usually hidden in some random hallway. Super low key. It's typically really out of the way to get there, but worth it since not that many kids go to it. It smells like soap, super clean, and you feel safe. Like you could actually sit and cry there. Or that's what I saw when I first discovered it. Cool. Then there's the fight one. You'll know it immediately because the second you walk into it, there's already a crowd gathered. And at least 2 guys are arguing over a vape. Which, by the way, guys, kids, please don't vape. It's not gonna get you anywhere. The amount of kids that I would see doing it in those bathrooms was insane. And finally, we have the haunted bathroom. That's the one that's been there since the school was built in 1923. Flickering lights, one stall door barely hanging onto the hinges, and somehow, it's always colder in there than the rest of the building. You'll hear random toilet flushing by itself in an empty stall, and you're just gonna be like, nope, I'm out. And on that first week without lockers, I didn't just look like a kid on a camping trip. I looked like a lost explorer on a side quest. I'd be walking around with this giant backpack trying to find the good bathroom before my back gave out. And of course, the first one I find, haunted. I walked in, saw the flicker, heard the pipes that made that creepy bloop noise, and I immediately walked right back out. So make sure you can differentiate between the good and bad bathrooms. I knew classmates who'd walk the 10, 20 minutes minutes to the good ones. And the more I think about it, you can't blame them. Some of these guys needed a support animal, or a plushie, or especially the Horchata plushie. Shameless merch plug. So yeah, get a plushie while you can, and any orders over $100 gets a free one. So go to horchatasoto.com to check out the rest of the merch, and it'll mean the absolute world if you can support your boy out. Anyways, moving on. Another rookie mistake that you can make that first week, the club fair. Are you familiar? Well, you will be in high school. It may be called differently throughout different schools, but it's the same concept. The club fair was this thing during lunch. Typically during the first week of school, that was designed to show you all the fun ways to get involved with different clubs that the school offered. You had chess club, theater, marching band, and sports. And each station, there would be kids with clipboards hoping you'd sign up. And please listen to me, it's basically a trap. Because I didn't know that signing up for a club was basically like signing up for real life spam emails. I'd walk in thinking maybe I'd join one or two, but 15 minutes later, I didn't know how to say no. And I ended up signing my name on so many clipboards. Like I was starting to forget what I actually agreed to. Yearbook club? Sure. The chess team? Why not? Drama club? I didn't even like speaking in front of people. But hey, the girl at the table said that they had snacks. Shoot, I even signed up for army recruitment. And for that entire month of school, I'd get texts, phone calls, and even those clipboard kids would approach me in the hallways asking when I would show up to the club. Where's the haunted bathroom when you needed to ghost all of them? And the only club I actually showed up to was the lunch table club. And that wasn't even a real club. I'm making that up. Me and some friends would just sit at the lunch tables after school chilling. And we'd be talking until the janitor would kick us out. So pro tip, pick one or two clubs that you actually like. For me, that was marching band and science olympiad. If you know, you know. And skip the ones you're only joining because they had free candy on the table. Now, you've gone through orientation, figured out the bathrooms, the imaginary lockers. So now, let's talk about the classes themselves. Because on that first day, the teacher lottery is real. You don't know who you get until you're actually in the class. Some teachers are pretty chill. On the first day, they'll have you sit around in a circle, do icebreakers. Icebreakers, man. Blah, 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 blah. You can tell I'm not a fan of icebreakers. Give me your name and what you did this summer. Here we go. By the end of the class, you know everyone's favorite color and what dog they have. But I may have spoken a little too soon. I don't think I should have complained. Because 2 classes later, you'll encounter a whole different type of teacher. The one who treats the first day like it's the final exam. No introductions, no, hi, my name is Mr. So-and-so. They just walk in, open the first page of the textbook, and immediately start teaching. And remember that second notebook I told you how to bring just in case? So this is when you're gonna need it. That notebook is for the math teacher who tells you on day 1 that tests are 90% of your grade. And then he chooses to assign chapter 1 for homework. Man, I saw a bunch of my classmates scrambling for paper. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody was writing notes on their hand. And I was one of those kids who learned the hard way. The first half of school, I didn't learn anything. Each class would just hand me a syllabus and what school supplies to bring. But after lunch, I had my math class. I'm in a half food coma after eating a burger for lunch. And I'm really tired. My eyes are barely opening because of me carrying my backpack all day. And the second I sit, my math teacher goes, tests are 90% of your grade and homework is 10. Wait, what? Wait, that's it? No warm welcome? No, tell me your name? Just the academic equivalent of being thrown into a pool as a kid. But hey, luckily I had the school supplies already. You know, my back can finally rest and take some weight off my shoulders. So yeah, I feel like we need a badge or a little achievement that says I survived my first day of high school. And if you think the following week was any easier, well, I did learn to have a lighter backpack. Off to a good start. And thankfully, my locker was ready. But when I go to it, I see someone using it. Can I help you? Oh, this is my locker. What? I'm repeating senior year. Remember when those lockers belonged to seniors last year? Well, the locker that I was assigned to belonged to a senior that needed to repeat senior year. So I didn't get a new repainted locker. I had to carry all my stuff around again for another week until the school figured out what to do with me. Story of my life, about to drop out. Aw, come on. Cling.